Hi everyone, welcome to episode 7 of our dance series. I'm grateful to spend this time with you today and to teach you one of my very favorite dance styles. I probably say that at the beginning of every dance style I'm about to teach. This one might in fact take that prize. So this is the hustle. It is a fun, fast, up-tempo dance. If you were here last week, then you would have taken a lesson from Lonnie Stanton in her chair yoga practice, which is very grounding and helps us explore a range of motion in our bodies. That groundedness, I mentioned this at the end of that episode, we really want to think about how to ground ourselves, especially when you're going through a fast-moving dance, because otherwise it can get a little flaily. And we want to have that sense of inner calm because this one is pretty peppy. So here we are ready to dance the hustle. This is a dance, because I live here in Boston, whenever I'm thinking about hustle and disco music, I think of Donna Summer, who grew up right here in the Mission Hill neighborhood, disco queen, and so anytime we dance this dance, especially in this town, we are honoring that legend. And so I just wanted to name that and bring it into the space. Also, this is one of the newer of the ballroom dances that we teach. If you tuned into episode 1, you saw the waltz, which was the oldest of the ones that we teach, originates in the 16th century in Bavaria. It was a scandal that people danced in such close partnership at the time. And here we are with one of the newer dances where completely different style and feeling, and also interesting to think about how we can apply the sense of partnership and connection across the styles and across the ages. So, before we actually get to the hustle dance, I want everybody, please, we're going to do a little exercise in connection with one another. We talked a little bit about this if you were here for the swing dance episode as well. If everyone could take their heels of their palms and just put them together like such, with your elbows activated across your back, what I want you to do is apply a very gentle push feeling. So it's like I'm taking this part and I push them toward each other, yeah? Now, what I'm also going to do is apply the feeling of a pull. So the way I'm going to do that is, I'm going to open my fingers like that. I'm going to hook my fingertips onto each other, and now I'm very slightly going to pull my elbows away from one another. So here, I've got the feeling of a pull, and then if I put the heels of my palm together, the feeling of a push, yeah? So here's the pull feeling, and here's the push feeling. If I'm dancing with a partner, what happens is that we do that same sort of hook for the feeling of the pull, and then when we are dancing with one another, oftentimes we'll also use the feeling of a push, where we crease the heel of the palm and we connect with one another using the back of the fingers and the heel of the palm like such. So there's the feeling of a push, and here we have the feeling of the pull. So it's these parts together, compressing, and then fingertips together to pull away. So let's try that a few times through, right? So here's the feeling of the pull, and then a feeling of a push. When I'm dancing with myself, right, I naturally don't pull myself off kilter, and so this is definitely what you want to think about when you're with a partner. You want to activate these sensations without causing any sense that the other partner is going to lose their balance because of the way you're interacting with them, right? So it's a gentle pull or a gentle push. And if you were here for the swing episode, we talked briefly about how this can apply to dancing with your doorway. A great teaching tool and a great partner when you don't have one in the space with you. So a little review about how we approach this with a doorway. If I did the hook of my fingertips to the inside of the door frame, and if I settle the weight of my body, my center, away from that common center point, then I get the feeling of a pull, yeah? If I took the heel of my palm, if I placed it on the outside, took my center toward the door frame, I get the feeling of a push. So using this object, we can, because it's so attached to the wall, right, I can safely settle my weight away and it's supporting me. I can also settle my weight toward and it's supporting me. This applies to all of the ballroom dance steps that use push and pull technique. When we danced the swing, we took the basic step of that dance and we made it work with the door frame as a partner. The thing is, if you just wanted to improvise and play around with it, you can come up with all sorts of different kinds of movement that are going to be based on that connection. I'm always thinking, actively thinking, that either I use the push or I use the pull. And with that in mind, I can create some sort of dynamic movements. I can invent things. I could decide I might want to do a couple swivel steps. I do a little push. I might do a little pull, using the push to go into the next part, right? So have a little bit of fun with your push-pull technique in your doorway. And don't rip it out of the wall. That would be no good, right? But that's a little bit about how we can use this feeling of connection to start playing around and exploring the many possibilities. If you are dancing a hustle basic, it's going to be the back rock that we talked about in the swing episode. A quick review of that. Whenever I'm rocking away from my partner, it's a small step because for these dances, the music is faster. I place the ball of my foot with my knees close together. I transfer the weight, and then when I finish the transfer of weight, I really won't have traveled very far with my feet. So when I take the hustle basic step, if I did the leader's part, it goes back, rock, 1, 2. So it's 4 steps. Back, rock, 1, 2. On the back rock, I feel that little pull, and then 1, 2. Back to a neutral feeling. Back step for a pull, to a neutral, and back step to a neutral. And of course, you could do the same exact thing as a follower. If I started with my right foot, planting the ball of the foot first, my knees are close together, rather than taking a big step, in which case I'm going to be naturally really far away from my partner. So I place the ball of my foot, I transfer the weight, and then I come back and march my feet. So when we do the hustle basic, it's 4 steps for every basic step. Back, rock, march, march, back, rock, march, march, back, rock, march, march, back, rock. Or you could do the left. Back, rock, march, march, back, rock, march, march, back, rock, march, march. And the thing that happens when you practice it with your doorway, when we're learning this with a partner, sometimes what can happen is we either lock our arms or we allow them to get so soft that we naturally just sort of trail away. We don't want that, right? You want to have a sense of tone and connection, and knowing that you always keep your hand, your arm, your point of connection in front of you, and it's ready to activate, in this case, either with the feeling of the push or the feeling of the pull. All right, so now that we've done a little work on our own to understand how to connect with a partner by way of our door frame, I just am so lucky enough that my friend Naoe Suzuki is in the neighborhood, is going to stop by to be the hustle partner to help me demonstrate some of the moves that we can do when we're dancing with a partner. Naoe, good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Great to see you.
I'm so glad you're here.
I was in the neighborhood.
and you know what?
Yes.
And now we're going to hustle. So
I love it.
Thank you for coming over. You don't mind being the follower for today? Is
Not
that okay?
at all.
All right, if you want to lead, just let me know.
Okay.
And we'll flip around. So I'm going to be doing the leader's part, and Naoe is gracious enough to do the follower's part. And so anytime the leader leads the hustle basic, they're going to start on the left foot, follower's going to start on the right foot. And the very first thing we can do, actually before we even do any of the official steps, is just march on the beat. It's a very even driving beat. So it'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Doesn't seem like there's much to it, but if you start off doing this with a partner, then we know we're at least on the rhythm together. And we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're matching our footfalls as I go on my left, Naoe on the right, and vice versa. And that's going to be true no matter what thing we do next. Yeah? So from here, the first step that we're going to do that's in the hustle is the hustle basic step. So our hands are connected by our fingertips. You want to keep the amount of tone between them that just enough to be able to hold a very thin piece of paper. So we don't want to apply extra pressure because, again, then we can throw each other off balance in a way that we don't want. So if we're here starting out, it's just a very basic neutral feeling. And then when we do the first step, which is a back rock away from each other, then we're going to start feeling that pull feeling that we talked about earlier with the doorway. It's just that our fingertips activate so that when we settle our bodies away from one another, we get a little pull between the fingertips. So we're going to start with a back rock, and then we march in place. So if you've never done the hustle before and you happen to be dancing with a partner, this would be the first thing that we would do, yeah? So it's like we're mirror image of each other. We do a back rock, we march our feet, back rock, or if you're counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've done that before. I could tell. Thank you. So that's the very first step. It's a basic step. What we can do to add a little bit of visual interest to this and make it a little bit more exciting is we actually rotate the dance. We turn around one another. It's less of a circular action as it is a passing by one another, like we're walking through a doorway or walking straight ahead, yeah? Likewise with our arms, right? We'll talk about the feet in a second, but if I take my arms and when I pass by my partner, or if I took my hands like this and I just drew them down, what ends up happening is this draws us close together, and that's the feeling that's going to help us as we do a 180-degree turn to wind up 180 degrees from where we started. So we turn around ourselves, And eventually we'll add the feet to that as well. But again, if we start from this neutral position, and if the leader takes the hands downward, it causes us to walk by one another straight ahead. So I'm going on this side of Nawe, Nawe's going on this side of me, and we walk by one another. Now if we add the rhythm to that, it's always going to be that a back rock happens and then something else. So if we did the first step where we did back rock and we did not turn, we do back, rock, march your feet. Back, rock, march your feet. Now this gets the rhythm into our feet. When we add the turn, it goes like this. Back, rock, walk, and back, rock, walk. And we might be able to get 2 more in without getting too dizzy, and then we'll stop. How'd that go?
Great.
Thank you. So when I'm doing the turn, right, if I aim for a back, rock, walk, if I can close my feet together, I'm going to be centering myself in a way that is going to be helpful for when I go into the next basic step. Back, rock, I walk by, and if I have presence of mind when I'm learning it to just get used to closing my feet together, it's going to make it that you're on more of the same page, especially when the music comes in and it gets faster. The follower's part of that, back rock, and as we walk by one another, when we turn, if we can close our feet together, it's going to make it easier to get into the next step. Back, rock, 1, 2, back, rock, 1, 2. So we close our feet underneath ourselves. From the beginning with no turn, back, rock, 1, 2, back, rock. But then we go back, rock, turn around, back, rock, turn around. So those are the first 2 steps that we would learn. What we're going to do now is put a little practice pattern together. So what we're going to do is we're layering it in a very specific way. You're going to learn it that way, but just know that when we're out dancing socially, in this case, I'm going to lead and Nawe's going to follow, and when it comes down to it, I'm going to be making the decisions on the fly, and you'll be following them on the fly. So this is how we start to learn how to piece them together, and then we can mix and match as we go along. So the pattern for tonight is going to be 2 measures of basic step that does not turn. So we go back, rock, march your feet. Back, rock, but then you back, rock, and turn around, back, rock. You could do that again. Back, rock, and march your feet. Back, rock, but then you back, rock, and turn around, back, rock, and turn around. And maybe we can all do that together, and I'll even slow it down a little bit so if you want to try this at home, here we go. Ready? 5, 6, and we go. Back, step, we march together. Back, step, and then we back, step, and repeat. Back, step, do the whole thing again. Back, rock, and march, march, back, rock. Now we do a back, rock, turn around, back, rock, turn around. Thank you. All right, so after we've learned these basic steps, we can start to play around with some of the other slightly more complicated figures that make up this dance. So the next one that we're going to do is still based on a 180-degree turn, and I'm going to think of it as the leader does a turn first, and then the follower does the turn next. So as we're switching places, what's going to happen is the leader initiates, and they're going to be the one turning underneath, then they're going to lead the follower to do it on the second measure. So it's always back rock, and then something happens. Back rock, and something happens. Back rock, something happens. Well, without thinking about the feet for a moment, here's the something that happens. The leader is going to take their right hand, they're going to walk by their partner, and they're also going to go underneath it like that. So this is what's happening. This hand, I go underneath it as I'm going by my partner, and it looks like, if I don't think about the feet, I go underneath my hand as we switch places. Now with my left hand as the leader, I'm going to lift it, we're going to flip by each other, and that allows my partner to go underneath, in this case, she's going to go underneath her right hand. Goes underneath, and then we're right back where we started. So again, sometimes it makes it easier to think about taking the feet away and just figuring out what it is we're trying to do with the upper body. And from this angle, so you can see, leaders, I'm going to go underneath this hand first. I'm going to lead my follower under this hand next. So it goes no feet, just arms. I go underneath, and then now it goes underneath, and we're back where we started. So one more time slowly, because it can be a little complicated depending on which angle you're looking at it. I go under, now it goes under. First, I go underneath, and then now it goes underneath, and we're right back where we started. When it comes to how we connect with one another, what I think about is I want to be really, when I understand my steps, I want to be really clear about when and how I'm leading it. So I know that I'm trying to go underneath this hand. I reconnect with Nawe so that she can then understand that she's going to go underneath that hand, and we reconnect always to get back where we started. When we put the feet to that, we'll do just this step and then we'll layer it onto everything else that we had. So it's going to look like back, rock, the leader goes, back, rock, the follower goes. We could do it again. The leader goes, and back, rock, the follower goes. And we wind up right back where we started. It might be good to layer this into what we already know. So we're going to do 2 measures without a turn, 2 measures with a turn, and 2 measures with leader goes, follower goes. And it sounds like this. Back, rock, we march our feet, back, rock, we then flip by each other, we turn around, then the leader goes, then the follower goes. Start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I will turn around, and we will turn around. Then I go underneath, and Nawe goes underneath, and we start the pattern all over again. 1, 2, and then back, rock, we turn around, back, rock, but then I go underneath, my partner goes underneath, we stopped. Very good. Nicely done. Thank you.
That was fun.
I thought so too. So if you're at home practicing this, you can start thinking about, as you're working with your partner, layer one thing onto the next so that we can get all of these different movements into our muscle memory. It's going to be really important when we do get to the point where we're on a social dance floor trying to mix and match them. So we're going to incorporate one more set of figures tonight, and it's going to be a similar idea to what we were just talking about, where the leader wants to be really clear about where not only are they placing their own hands, but what they're intending for their partner to do with that lead and that movement, right? So if I take the feet out of it and I think about the next move, the peekaboo, one of my very favorites, the way this is going to work is that we do not let go of our hands. They're going to stay connected this whole time. My left hand as the leader is going to go up, and when that happens, I invite Nawe to walk underneath it. This is going to put us in this position where we can say, hello, peekaboo, past this hand, and then come back the way we came. So you'll notice that because we did not let go of this hand here, it wound up behind Nawe's back. We get here, and then, peekaboo, we're back where we started, yeah? So that was the leader taking the left hand up, keeping this one connected. It winds up behind your partner's back, and we're back where we started right there. If I did that entire thing in the opposite direction, what would happen is that the leader's hand would come not away from our noses, but across our noses. This one stays connected, and we wind up in what's called the cuddle position. Hello. And then we're going to go back the way we came. So again, rather than taking this hand away from our noses, we're going to take this hand leaders across our noses, and that's going to allow us to get into this cuddle position. Because I have not let go of this side, do you mind if we scooch a little bit? If I have not let go of this side, you'll see it's still connected, and that's part of what gets us into this cuddle position here. And then to get my partner out of that, that's the uncuddle, right? So I take leaders, you take the left hand across the nose, but then back where you came, yeah? If we layer the feet onto that, what's going to happen is, just like before, back, rock, you march your feet. Back, rock, you march your feet. Back, rock, march. March, back, rock, march, march. What's interesting about getting into these new positions is that even if something contorted or seemingly contorted happened up top, as the follower, you still want to make sure that you can fit in that back rock, and it has to be small anyway, so it's good to keep in mind. Back, rock, 1, 2, back, rock, 1, 2. And it's a similar idea when I'm getting to the cuddle position. It can feel a little strange because we're moving into a different configuration with our partner, but you still want to think about back, rock, get into the cuddle, we back, rock, and come out of the cuddle. Back, rock, we cuddle in, back, rock, we cuddle out. Should we put it together?
Yes.
So we do the peekaboo into the cuddle. With the feet, it looks like this. Back, rock, march, and back, rock, we come on out. Back, rock, we cuddle in. Back, rock, we cuddle out. And you start into the next thing. Yeah? All right, so what we're going to do is just practice that very basic foot pattern with some music so we can get the rhythm in our feet. You ready? All right, so now we're going to add that in. So we're going to do our basic steps that do not turn. We're going to layer in our basic steps that do turn. 2 measures of no turn, 2 measures with a turn. Ready? All right, so now we're going to layer in the basic step that doesn't turn, then 2 measure the basic steps that turn around, and then we're going to do the 2 measures of leader goes underneath, follower goes underneath. We're putting them in that sequence and it's repeatable. We're going to do it and we invite you to do it as well. Ready? All right. All right, so now we're going to be layering in the peekaboo and the cuddle to everything we've done before. So why don't we show you slowly first and then we'll put it to music. So the pattern that we're doing is 2 basic steps that do not turn to get the rhythm in our feet. Then we flip by each other. And next thing we do, back, rock, leader goes under, back, rock, follower under. Now we peekaboo and we come on out. Now we cuddle in, then we cuddle out and we start again. And we're going to do a flip by each other. And then we do the one where the leader goes under, the follower goes under. Then we do a peekaboo. Then we come on out of it. Then we do a cuddle and then we uncuddle and you're done with that. Thank you. I know, something right? All right, so let's try that with music and feel free to try along with us. All right, so if you've been joining us for the ballroom dance portions of these series, you'll have seen that we work on the leader's part and the follower's part, and oftentimes we incorporate both into same routines. So it really is good for understanding the way the dance operates to be able to know both parts. So I'm going to show you, if you're dancing alone in your space right now, I want to show you what it looks like to do the leader's part of all of this, and then I'll show you what it looks like to do the follower's part of it so that you can try this out at home. So, basic step looks like this. Back, rock, I march my feet. Back, rock, I march my feet. But then I turn around 180 and I turn around. From here, I go underneath. Then I lead my partner to go underneath. Then I lead my partner to the peekaboo and then they come out of it. Finally, I lead my partner into a cuddle and then I send them away again, and we could start the whole thing all over. If I was following that, then this is what it would look like to solo it. I would start by going back, rock, and march my feet. Back, rock, but then we do, my partner flips me around, my partner flips me around, but now the leader is going to go first, and I am going to go next, and then I do this peekaboo, then I come on out again. Here I do a cuddle, and then I come on out and start all over again. So it's a little bit of a brain teaser, but to understand how to do both parts, to be able to refer back to that material, it only makes you a stronger social dancer. So I encourage you to try that out if you're so willing. Believe it or not, that's the slow tempo. So once I get the handle of the hustle, actually what we're going to do to make it even more exciting than it already is we're going to double time our back rock step. So if I'm dancing with Nawe, right, the way we've done it so far is an even time rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you break it down in numbers, what we're doing is half timing the back rock, and it looks like this. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Now that's a very confusing way to count anything, and so if you want to do a little placeholder, you can just go ha-ha on the back rock. So it looks like this. Ha-ha, 1, 2, ha-ha, 1, 2, ha-ha, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, ha-ha, 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 1, 2, ha-ha. Thank you. So now what we're going to do, this is a challenge where we're going to try to put all of that together with music on the syncopated rhythm. Are you ready?
Yes.
Me too. All right, so thank you for going along on this journey with us. Now here's the final piece of your social dancing puzzle. It's how to mix and match this when you're on the social dance floor. So leaders, you have a number of tools in your toolbox, and followers, we've talked about the ways to follow those different steps that you're learning. So we're gonna put it to the test, and we're going to just dance socially and see what happens. That sound okay?
Yes.
All right, let's put some music on.